welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Elaine. Welcome. I'm a weight loss health coach, a fitness enthusiast, and an activewear lover who is wearing another dress today because it makes me feel fabulous. Today we are here with health and fitness Q&A number 5, where I answer your health and fitness weight loss questions that you have submitted to me. If you're wanting to submit a question, pop into the description box below. That's where you will find my email. It'll also be somewhere on the screen where you can send all of your submissions. Your submissions are always anonymous unless you request to be shouted out. If you're looking for ways to support me, pop over to my website, www.fitnessbeyondaesthetics.com. That is where you will find my weight loss health coaching wait list and forms to apply to coach with me, where you'll find my Amazon finds, my merch, my discount codes, and anything else that you could possibly be interested in. Now, without further ado, let's answer some questions. Okay, so the first question is looking for diet recommendations, best diet that has helped you lose weight and keep it off. When it comes to diet for weight loss, there is no best diet. And the reason I say that is because we are all unique individuals. What works for one person may not work for another person. And most of us experience this where we try different diets, especially the fad diets or the most popular diets like keto diet, intermittent fasting, paleo diet, any of those diets. If you have tried them before and they just haven't worked for you, it's not because the diet itself failed. It can work for other people. It just means that that diet was not for you and it was not sustainable for you. So when it comes to finding the best diet for you to lose weight, you are going to have to do some experimenting and figure out what works for you and your body and what is going to be the most sustainable for you. When I say sustainable, I mean that do not pick a diet that is going to cut out all of the things that you love, because when you end up restricting the foods that you absolutely love, what ends up happening usually is that you go so long without them, you start craving them, and then you binge on them. And sometimes that can lead to an unhealthy relationship with food, and or it can start the precursor for a binge eating disorder. So when it comes to starting a diet, just going into weight loss, focus on adding more whole grains to your current diet. Focus on getting hydrated, drinking your water. So add lean proteins. Protein is muscle sparing. When you start losing weight, if you are not resistance training, meaning that you are not lifting weights or using band or using some form of resistance in your exercise, you will actually lose quite a bit of muscle mass along with your weight loss. So when you eat the protein, it can help preserve some of your muscle during your weight loss, and adding resistance training like strength training can also keep your muscle there, maintain your muscle, and or you can add more muscle, which will help you lose more weight, because muscle is metabolically active, meaning that when you're just sitting around like I'm doing right now, your muscle is burning calories because it requires calories to maintain itself. Add more fruits and vegetables as well so that you're getting the fiber in there that will help keep you full. Then once you've got that base down, you're going to have to experiment with what foods work for you and what foods don't work for you. Question number 2. I was just wondering how you guys change your routine from eating rubbish to eating healthy. I'm really struggling as I've eaten rubbish for so long. I feel ya. And it's the same routine all the time. My hubby goes to work, then order a takeaway. Takeaway, I believe, is like the British way of saying takeout. Even if I can't afford it, I still order it, as it's a bad routine. I can't seem to change just after some advice as to what to try. So I totally get this. I was definitely in that cycle of, oh, like, let me stop eating junk food. And then I would start eating junk food again within like a week of stopping everything. So my first piece of advice there is don't cut out everything at once. So a lot of people have this all or nothing mentality. It's either I'm eating completely healthy whole foods or I'm eating junk. Like, there's no middle ground. When you keep going back and forth between these two extremes, that's when you usually get into the yo-yo dieting cycle, where you'll go completely clean whole foods, and then you'll miss all of your favorite more processed foods. Then you usually end up going back to the processed foods and binge eating. So when it comes to reducing the amount of processed foods that you eat, stop focusing on cutting out the processed foods and start focusing on adding in more whole foods. So as I mentioned before in the other ones, add more whole grains, add more lean proteins, add more fruits and vegetables to your diet. You want to get your mindset into, I am going to be adding this to my food. I'm going to be adding this to my lifestyle. And when you're adding these whole foods, what happens naturally is that you start feeling full from the whole foods first. So you're not going to be as likely to reach for the junk food, especially if you end up preparing ahead of time. It sounds like in this situation, this individual is reaching for the junk food, ordering food out because they are not prepared ahead of time, meaning that they haven't home cooked meals ahead of time so that they can just grab it. They are ordering the takeaway, the takeout, because it is convenient for them. When we remove the convenience factor of processed foods and junk foods and takeout by having home cooked meals prepped ahead already, we are less likely to spend extra money eating out. And I'm slightly worried by this one, because if you're eating out and it's a detriment to your financial status, you're going to be stressed over your finances. And unfortunately, stress does make it much harder to lose weight, especially stubborn belly fat. So really start prepping ahead of time. Incorporate the things that I've mentioned, your whole foods, including your whole grains, your lean proteins, your fruits and vegetables, also drinking more water, and start preparing ahead of time. And if you find that you're still not able to break the habit, this may be something that's more psychological that you need to work with a therapist or a psychiatrist for, to figure out why you are continually choosing to spend your money on takeout and processed foods when it's not in your budget and when financially it's an unsustainable pattern for you to be in. Next question number 3. How can I go about losing my stomach without losing my shape and my butt? I've been doing cardio, but I'm noticing I'm losing weight everywhere when my main concern is my stomach and back area. So first thing is first, you cannot spot reduce fat. What that means is when you are doing exercise, any form of exercise, that could be walking up the stairs, this could be cleaning your apartment, this could be actually doing cardio, going on a treadmill, running, or weightlifting. When you're doing any form of exercise, it burns calories. Where those calories are burned from is not our decision. That is determined by our genetics. So when you are losing fat, when you are losing weight, you could lose it from your legs, you could lose it from your hips, you could lose it from your face. Everyone's fat loss patterns are completely different. There is no coach or exercise that can tell you exactly where you're going to lose the fat from when you start your weight loss journey. So this is why they've noticed that they are losing fat everywhere except the areas that they really want to lose the fat from. These are probably the areas that you are going to lose fat from last, because they might be your stubborn fat areas. I know a lot of people talk about belly fat being stubborn, but everyone's stubborn fat is kind of different. A lot of people, yes, do have stubborn belly fat, especially if you live a very high stress life. Cortisol makes it much harder. Cortisol is the stress hormone, makes it much harder for us to lose belly fat. But some people hold on to their back fat more than others, or some people will hold on to their booty fat more than others, until you get to that point in your weight loss journey where your body is actually ready to start using those fat stores and burning them off as calories. So how do you go about losing your stomach during your weight loss journey? You stay consistent with your weight loss journey, because there is no one that can predict when you're going to lose your belly fat. It could be a month into your weight loss journey. It could be 3 years into your weight loss journey, like it took for me. Regarding losing your shape during your weight loss journey, yes, if you're wanting to have more curve to you as opposed to only losing weight, losing fat, then resistance training, strength training, weightlifting, whatever you want to call it, is a great way to build your curves so that when you do end up losing that fat, you still have some shape to you. Now, when it comes to resistance training, depending on the muscle that you grow and that you work on, yes, you can definitely kind of curate your shape to what you want it to be to an extent, because our genetics do still play a factor in that. So if you're wanting to keep your butt per se when you're losing weight, then doing exercises like hip thrusts, squatting, Romanian deadlifts, lunges will help make sure that even though you are losing the fat off your butt as you are losing weight, you still grow that muscle so that you still have a nice shape to your butt when you lose the weight. And the fourth question, last question for today, is, does anyone else feel overwhelmed trying to eat better and establish a workout routine? Yes, it It can be very overwhelming in the beginning. We've all been there. I feel like focusing on my eating habits first would help me form up some good habits. Have others tackle this. Yep, I went through the exact same thing. The biggest mistake I made, one of the biggest mistakes, I made a lot of big mistakes at the beginning of my weight loss journey, but one of the biggest ones was definitely doing too many things at the beginning, where I tried to start too many habits at the very beginning. I got very overwhelmed or very frustrated when I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. And as a result, I would quit a couple weeks in or a couple months in, like give absolutely no fucks, and then get upset with myself that I quit so early into the weight loss journey. It was a continuous cycle for about 2 years. So when it comes to starting off your weight loss journey, pick what meets your goals. If you have a lot of fat that you want to lose, if you have a lot of pounds that you want to lose, definitely starting with your nutrition and tackling your eating habits is going to serve you a lot more. Sorry, I'm going to sound repetitive, but I know people skip around in these videos to the parts that are interesting to them. So I will repeat this. Start by adding more whole grains to your diet, adding more fruits and vegetables, adding more lean proteins, and increasing your water intake. Those are going to be your foundational steps to getting your nutrition back on track. By adding in more whole foods, you will naturally crowd out the more processed foods. So once you get that down and you're like, okay, I'm in a good place. By the way, give yourself at least a month to form the habit of introducing more nutritious foods into your diet. After the first month, if you feel ready to start incorporating more exercise or just more daily movement into your new healthy lifestyle, then take that step. If you don't have a lot of weight to lose, you don't have a lot of fat to lose, and you're more so looking to just build a nicer shape through exercising, then maybe starting with a workout regimen would benefit you more. I always recommend going the resistance training route if it's something that interests you and if it's something that you think you might find enjoyable, because when you do build muscle, muscle is metabolically active, meaning that when you are just at rest, muscle burns calories. So yes, the overwhelm is totally normal. Definitely just pick one or the other to work with if you're feeling too overwhelmed, and start with small actionable habits. So a habit that you might choose if you decide to focus on your nutrition first is just getting more whole grains into your diet. Or a lot of people actually see great weight loss results from just increasing their water intake. A lot of us are dehydrated and we don't realize it. And if you're wondering if you're hydrated enough, usually if you go and take a pee, if your urine is a light colored yellow to almost clear, that's a good indicator that you are hydrated. Instead of trying to base it on a certain amount of cups that you should drink a day, since everybody's body is different and everyone's activity levels are different. If you're more active, you will need more water than someone who is more sedentary. If you found this useful, definitely make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. So many of you that watch me are not subscribed. What you doing? Fix it. Step it up. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. If you're looking for ways to support me, pop over to my website, www.fitnessbeyondaesthetics.com, where you will find my weight loss coaching forms that you can apply to be a client with me. You will find my discount codes, my Amazon finds, and anything else that you could possibly be interested in. Always remember that your mindset is everything. It really is, especially when you're doing a weight loss journey. So like I said, always remember that your mindset is everything. Watch the other videos that are on the screen, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.